Hey, guess what? We are on to book 2. It took 5 little recordings to get through book 1. I hope they're not all so long. Okay, so as book 2 starts out, Dawn is personified because there is a minor goddess who is Dawn. When primal dawn spread on the eastern sky her fingers of pink light, Odysseus's true son stood up, drew on his tunic and mantle, slung a sword belt and a new-edged sword, tied his smooth feet into good rawhide sandals, and left his room, a god's brilliance upon him. He found the criers with clarion voices and told them to muster the unshorn Achaeans in full assembly. The call sang out, and the men came streaming in, and when they filled the assembly ground, he entered, spear in hand. With 2 quick hounds at heel, Athena lavished on him a sunlit grace that held the eye of the multitude. Old men made way for him as he took his father's chair. Remember, Odysseus had been king. So Telemachus here goes to the chair where his father, the king, would have sat, and he's going to make an announcement. And Athena has made him look better than he really is. She lavished on him a sunlit grace, in meaning she's puffed him up, made him look shining, made him look muscular, all that good stuff. Now Lord Aegyptius bent down and, sage with years, opened the assembly. This man's son had served under the great Odysseus, gone in the decked ships with him to the wild horse country of Troy, a spearman, Antiphus by name. The ravenous Cyclops in the cave destroyed him last in his feast of men. 3 other sons of the old man had, and one, Eurynomus, went with the suitors, 2 farmed for their father. But even so the old man pined, remembering the absent one, and a tear welled up as he spoke. Hear me, Ithacans. Hear what I have to say. No meeting has been held here since our king Odysseus left port in the decked ships. Who finds occasion for assembly now? One of the young men? One of the older lot? Has he had word our fighters are returning? News to report if he got wind of it? Or is it something else, touching the realm? The man has vigor, I should say, more power to him. Whatever he desires, may Zeus fulfill it. So basically, there hasn't been any kind of meeting or session since the men left for the war in Troy. So we're coming close on 20 years here without any kind of a council. And so this Lord Aegyptius had 3 sons. One was with the one. Look different if I go like that? Nope. All right, I'm going to use the word. One was with Odysseus. And there's a fly in here. He got eaten by the Cyclops, and Dad is still in mourning. Oh, and maybe I should have his name. 1 parentheses. Eurynomus. That's with Odysseus. Okay, so that's that first part. The old man's words delighted the son of Odysseus, who kept his chair no longer, but stood up, eager to speak in the midst of all the men. The crier, Peisanor, master of debate, brought him the staff and placed it in his hand. They kind of had a talking stick, if you've ever had that. Then the boy touched the old man's shoulder and said, "No need to wonder any more, sir, who called this session. The distress is mine. As to our troops returning, I have no news to report if I got wind of it, nor have I public business to propose. Only my need and the trouble of my house, the troubles. My distinguished father is lost, who ruled among you once, mild as a father. And there is now this greater evil still. My home and all I have are being ruined. Mother wanted no suitors, but like a pack they came. Sons of the best men here among them, lads with no stomach for an introduction to Icarius, her father, across the sea. He would require a wedding gift and give her to someone who found favor in her eyes. No. These men spend their days around our house, killing our beeves and sheep and fattened goats. carousing, soaking up our good dark wine, not caring what they do. So again, there's a little bit of culture interspersed here. If any of these suitors were actually decent guys, they would go across the sea, they would sail to where Penelope's father was, Icarus, and they would bring some kind of a wedding gift to show their intention, and then he would pick who was going to get to marry Penelope. But they don't do that. Instead, they kill the beeves, that's oxen and sheep and goats, and drink up the wine, and so they're just obnoxious. Top of page 21. They squander everything. We have no strong Odysseus to defend us, and as to putting up a fight ourselves, we'd only show our incompetence in arms. Expel them, yes, if I only had the power. The whole thing's out of hand, insufferable. My house is being plundered. Is this courtesy? Where is your indignation? Where is your shame? Think of the talk in the islands all around us and fear the wrath of the gods, or they may turn and send you some devilry. Friends, by Olympian Zeus and holy justice that holds men in assembly and sets them free, make an end of this. Let me lament in peace my private loss. Or did my father, Odysseus, ever do injury to the armed Achaeans? Is this your way of taking it out on me, giving free rein to these young men? I might better see my treasure and livestock taken over by you all. Then if you fed on them, I'd have some remedy, and when we met in public in the town, I'd press my claim. You might make restitution, this way you hurt me, when my hands are tied. So here he is appealing to their honor and saying, if you fear the gods, if you respect them, you shouldn't do this. Or wait a second, are you maybe mad at me because Odysseus did something wrong? Then take it out on me clearly so that I can fight against it. But this way is sneaky and I really can't do anything about it. Okay, so what's their answer? And in hot anger, he now threw the staff to the ground, his eyes grown bright with tears. A wave of sympathy ran through the crowd, all hushed, and no one there had the audacity to answer harshly, except, remember I told you he was the bad guy, except Antinous, who said, "What high and mighty talk, Telemachus? No holding you. You want to shame us and humiliate us, but you should know the suitors are not to blame." No, of course not. It is your own dear, incomparably cunning mother. Yeah, it's Penelope's fault. Your mom's fault. For 3 years now, it will soon be 4, she has been breaking the hearts of the Achaeans. Yeah, of course. Holding out hope to all and sending promises to each man privately, but thinking otherwise. Okay, so Penelope's been leading us on. Not really, but she had been at her wit's end. So this next part of the tale, we are going to hear about this over and over again. Basically, she had been doing some weaving during the day, unweaving at night. Her maid ratted her out. Here is an instance of trickery. She had her great loom standing in the hall and the fine warp of some vast fabric on it. We were attending her, and she said to us, "Young men, my suitors, now my lord is dead. Let me finish my weaving before I marry, or else my thread will have been spun in vain. It is a shroud I weave for Lord Laertes, when cold death comes to lay him on his bier. The country wives would hold me in dishonor if he, with all his fortune, lay unshrouded. We have men's hearts. She touched them. We agreed. So every day she wove on the great loom. But every night by torchlight she unwove it, and so for 3 years she deceived the Achaeans. But when the seasons brought the fourth around, one of her maids who knew the secret told us. We found her unraveling the splendid shroud. She had to finish then, although she hated it." So basically her trick was to say, once I finish this shroud for my father-in-law, Laertes, then I'll decide who to marry. And so it was her way to kind of have some time to keep them away from her. And she was probably hoping that at some point during all of that, Odysseus would come home and just spare her from the suitors.